My father was a manager in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, of A&P stores, and he was in charge of about 8 stores, like a circuit. And he had a bad sinus problem. So the cold winter, just about, he had his operation, but they made the hole too big, so it made it worse. So he had an awful time in the winter times, and they were cold in Pittsburgh. So he made a mention to one of my uncles who happened to be living around Sanford somewhere. In fact, he was on the team that discovered that big tree up in Sanford, the big tree you stop and look at. It's really interesting. And he told him he wanted to swap his house in Pittsburgh for one in Orlando because he was here. A man in a tower at Central and Orange directing traffic. Now he'd get killed if he's there now. But anyhow, he was up in the tower directing traffic. So that's how much it's changed. That's a good example. And that wasn't too long after 33. It was probably, I was in high school in 35. So it was about that time, in the late 30s. I happened to be, it's funny you asked that question, I happened to be the best dancer in OHS. I love to do the Lindy and the Shag, and they've changed the name of that now, so I got to be careful what I call it. It's the old Lindy, where you sling the partner out and back, like they do on Dancing with Stars. And I happened to be the best dancer in class of 35. They had me up at a reunion about 10 years later doing that same dance with my wife, and who went to the same school but 4 years back. She came into the OHS, the only high school we had, as I went out as senior. So she was about 4 years behind me. But I'd go back to the tea dances at the Country Club of Orlando. It's on Parr Avenue. That room is still there, still rustic and still beautiful. So I gave a plug to the Country Club, but they worth it. It was fun and a lot of parties there. And it was a real nice place to go. It still is. The Coliseum, North Orange Avenue, just beyond Baldwin-Fairchild, right behind that was a big Coliseum where you could roller skate. And Mr. Kemp was the owner, and he would bring in big bands. I had table 17B, and I'd rent it every time. And we'd sit there and enjoy Glenn Miller, Tommy Dorsey, not Glenn Miller in person, but his band, Tommy Dorsey, Jimmy Dorsey, Spike Jones, Guy Lombardo. We heard every one of those in person. Just fabulous music of the 40s, which I still love. We ate out a lot, and Mary didn't do much cooking, but we ate out a lot, and we knew about every restaurant in town. I met a lady the other night, just a week ago, that used to be a waitress on a Greek restaurant up on Orange Avenue across from where that mini car show is, mini car store. It was a big, good restaurant, Greek restaurant, and named Harry's, and we used to eat there a lot. But we've had a lot of good restaurants up and down that street. It's a godly city. It's got good government, good weather, and wonderful people, and a lot of beautiful churches.